All right. Hopefully this is working. We just never know with this thing, you know. It's always just a total crapshoot here. So.
And it doesn't help. We haven't done this in a long, long time. We have not gone live.
No, we sure haven't. Yeah, so if anybody is watching or listening out there, let us know if you can see us and hear us okay. So, happy Halloween, everybody. How's it going? I'm Larry Roberts, as you can see on the screen if you're watching us right now. This spooky little witch over here to my right is none other than...
Megan Guess.
And yeah, we're just here to talk about, I don't know, spooky
Halloween.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Can you see, can you hear, like turn it up, see if, make sure we're like coming through?
Right,
You can you see us on there?
I can see us.
Oh, that's a good sign. At least we can be seen.
Yep.
Oh,
now
all
we
right.
got back feed. All right.
We're coming through. All right. All right, cool. That makes me happy. All right. So we'll just wait for people to join us in here if anybody joins us. If not, they can watch it and listen to us later.
Replay.
Yeah, exactly. We always let this stuff replay. So what are we here to talk about today? Just all kinds of stuff, really.
Yeah, I want to talk about what we've been doing this year to get ourselves hyped up for Halloween.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely things we can talk about, like maybe, I don't know, should we like list like specific things? Does it have to be like a number of things? Like, does it have to be like top 5 things that got us like psyched up or ready for Halloween? Or can it just be like certain things we did that got us, you know, into the whole mix of...
Just do certain things.
Okay, hey, Jess is here.
Hey.
We're good. At least it's the 3 of us, see? We didn't get to carve, but we can hang out here.
There we go. Oh.
I know. Yeah, we didn't...
Hope you're feeling better.
I know, Jess. I really hope you're feeling better. And I'm sorry I forgot to buy the cheese. I'll pick it up on the way home. No carving and no cheese. Come on now.
That's sacrilegious.
I will not come home without the cheese. Trust me. But anyway, yeah, it's been a really weird Halloween season for us. I know that, man. Here, I'm gonna put a little bit of this on in the background. There we go.
There we go.
Let me know if that music is like too loud or distracting in the background, because I've got some music that's supposed to be like, this one's called like Spooky Swamp, and then I've got other stuff that's like Haunted Atmosphere and blah blah blah. So I thought I'd try that here.
Okay.
It's live stream. Anything goes. Anything
Who knows
goes.
what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Do you like my decorations? Do you like what we did?
You did a good job.
Yeah, we got the guys in here and everything. Yeah.
All your little blow molds.
Yeah, I love blow molds. I would just do a whole episode just talking about the blow molds.
This little guy lights up. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah. Well, there's a switch on the bottom of them, I believe.
Is there?
So
Do I
yeah.
need to-
Yeah, if you turn him on, he'll turn on permanently.
Do I need to take this
no,
off?
just
No?
turn that switch. There you go.
Okay.
Now he's on. I don't know if anybody at home can even tell. So,
He's just brighter than the other guys.
all right, Jess says she likes it. That's good. All right, so we're on the right track here. But yeah, I could do a whole episode just talking about classic blow molds. Now, these 2 guys that we have on the end, I apologize for people at home that might be listening to this later or whatever. You'll just have to use your imagination, I guess. But I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say the blow molds. These are the classic orange plastic blow molds that usually come in the old days, like this guy here, Jack here. Yeah, you've got a hole in the back. You could put like a little light bulb in there and light them up and stuff. I don't have that part of them anymore. It would have been so old, I'm sure that it probably wouldn't have been too safe anyway, you know. So anyway, yeah, that's cool. I love these things. Anybody that's interested in this, I'm going to give somebody a plug. Somebody that I casually know. His name's Raymond Castile. Ray Castile is awesome. He's been a part of the collector community for years and years and years now. He did a really, really cool video that highlighted toy collecting and horror toy and stuff especially. He's always been like the expert on that stuff. He did a really important video on that back in like the early 90s, way before YouTube, before all of us started jumping on this. He was just doing it with like primitive editing equipment and VHS cameras, and he put it out there, and it's legendary. I mean, you can find it on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it later if anybody wants to check it out. I've talked a little bit about Ray before on the show, but he is amazing. And you know what? I'm going to bring that up as one of my first things that I did or do
Okay.
for Halloween. One of the things that I like to do to prep for Halloween is that I love YouTube, as you know. Not just to be on it. I like YouTube to be able to watch all the stuff because I always watch a lot of like Halloween commercials. I've got playlists that I just save all sorts of vintage Halloween commercials from old black and white ones through the 70s and the 80s, the ones I grew up with, and 90s too. And then even some newer ones and everything. But one of the things that, especially this year, I've been doing a lot lately, just to kind of be in the mode and the mindset, is I've been watching Ray Castillo's Basement of Horror. That's what he does. I got to do it. Ray Castillo's Basement of Horror. And he just sets up like we do, just simple like this, one camera. Sometimes he has a couple cameras. I take that back. He's actually more advanced than we are in that regard. But he sets up and he shows off all the stuff. And he has stuff like this, these blow molds. Oh, my God. Oh my God, I get goosebumps when I look at his
You're
videos.
a little jelly.
Yeah, I'm very jelly.
I just saw somebody post in Thrill of the Hunt group on Facebook.
Oh,
that
Thrill of the Hunt is a really
America's-
good group.
Yeah. America's Antique Mall has like a gazillion of these things.
Oh no. Why did you tell me
Christmas
that?
ones, they got Halloween, they have all sorts of really cool ones.
Oh,
So
dear.
if you're local to Chicagoland, go over to Highland and check them out.
Yeah, I probably didn't need to know that.
No, you didn't.
Didn't need to.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was not necessary to
I'm not sorry.
let me know that. I don't have the money for any of that stuff, as much as I want it. But I'm happy to have these. Like I said, this is a vintage guy. This guy over here, I think this guy and that Trick or Treat, these are newer ones, but they're done.
cool.
Yeah, they're done in the vintage style. I'll show you people
I like
at
that
home.
guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, he's like the mayor. He's like the mayor of Halloween Land. But anyway, yeah, so that's one of the things that I like to do, especially when I'm decorating and or doing anything like that. I love having like the old commercials or having like the YouTube channels and stuff like that on. I know Jess and I know you tend to be more like you want to watch some sort of like Disney thing or something like that usually. right?
Yeah, one thing I normally do, I've not done this year yet, is do the Charlie Brown Halloween.
Oh, you know what? I haven't either. I have not watched Charlie Brown, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I haven't watched that. We haven't watched Garfield.
No? Oh my God, no.
And I know. And how can that be? Because
we haven't done our pumpkins.
exactly.
When we always do it.
I know. It just threw everything off, man. Everybody, for those at home, it's like, well, why didn't you do pumpkins? This, let me tell you.
It's been a month, guys.
It's been a month for all of us involved. Jess is sick right now. And I've been having all kinds of health issues on and off over the last month. You've got your own
I got my
worries
own
that
crap
you're
going
dealing
on.
with now that have come up in the last couple of weeks. Like health-wise,
Not
everything.
doing so hot.
No, we've just been all thrown off. And there's been a lot of like personal stuff. We don't want to bring it down and get into
Yeah.
that. But there's been a lot of like personal things that have happened, family related, friend related, just a lot of negative stuff, unfortunately. And what sucks is that having all the Halloween stuff like carving, decorating, making treats, eating treats, all that kind of stuff is like, it's like the best way to pull yourself out of that funk. But it has just
haven't
been,
had a chance to do so.
it's been working hard against us. Yeah, it really has, which is kind of part of the reason why we really were determined.
We were going to make this happen.
We were going to do this live stream because we wanted to do this last Halloween and we didn't. We didn't. I don't think we did anything last Halloween, did we?
I don't remember.
No, because I'm considering this to kind of be our part 2 to the Halloween live. Well, it wasn't live stream, but we did it like that day or whatever. Part 2 to the real talk that we did back in 2021. Can you believe that was 2021? Right?
Yeah, that seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it's crazy that it was. In some ways, it feels like that just happened, and then in other ways,
It feels to me like it just happened.
does it?
Yeah.
And then in other ways, it feels a long time ago. Like it's these last few years, especially ever since the Big Cove, ever since that whole thing, everything's just been real weird time-wise and stuff. I feel like we're stuck in an episode of Loki. You know what I mean? Like it's just real weird.
I don't understand anything that's happening.
Yeah, that's accurate.
It's about right.
But anyway, so we're kind of considering this one to be like the part 2 to that real talk, because we're going to get into real talk stuff, unlike what we usually do on this show where we're talking about movies or books or cartoons.
We're going to do some of that.
We're going to do a little bit of that, maybe a little bit, but the main focus I think is just going to be like we've already been doing, just sort of talking about this Halloween specifically, things that have gone on leading up to this Halloween. Some of this actually goes back to last Halloween for me. Something pretty interesting, and especially for those of you that did watch and listen to our real talk about ghosts and hauntings and all that kind of stuff. This is definitely a part 2 to that.
Yes.
We've got follow-ups to that. I want to recap real quick because I know there's going to be people that are probably going to listen
and
that
haven't watched the first one.
That didn't tune in for the first one, or maybe they just don't remember, because it was a while ago. I know some people are going to remember. I know people like Tammy's going to remember because she talks about it all the time. I know she loves when we do like the real talk stuff and everything. But I want to recap. So when we did that first episode in 2021, we were mainly focusing on paranormal experiences and even just like our general kind of getting it off the ground, like what we thought of that kind of stuff. And we both kind of agreed that we didn't really know what we thought of it, that we were both sort of like, we're not against it. It's not that we're disbelievers, but we're not like hardcore, like, oh yes.
Right.
Some
things might be able to be explained. Others I don't know yet.
I think a lot of it can be explained. But just like with the UFO thing and everything, like when we talk a lot about the UFO stuff, as you know, just like with the UFO thing, when they're like, okay, even if you have like 5,000 things, right, that try to get claimed, right, even if only 3% of that is true, that's still pretty significant.
Right.
I mean, the idea of having 3% of stuff that it's like we just simply cannot explain that away. And I think that's the case with this, too. There's a lot of things that you can kind of explain. There are even things that we've experienced that we can kind of explain. But then there's other things that it's like, that's really hard to explain. And I've got one personally that I'm going to bring up in a little bit. I'm not going to blow my load on that just yet.
Okay.
But I've got one personally that it's like, I would love to hear people's input on it, because everybody that knows this story of what happened at my house.
They're like, what the heck?
Perplexed. Everybody starts out with the same, like, oh, well, it could have been this, it could have been this, could have been. But then once I go through and I explain everything, they're like, okay, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to be excited to talk about that. You don't necessarily have anything quite as exciting, but you did go on some more ghost adventure stuff.
I did, yep. So I'll talk about that.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
I had an interesting... Well, it's not really paranormal. I don't know. It could be. It links actually to my last ghost hunt I did.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Where my, this and my cat finding a secret hideaway in my house. But I'll talk more about that.
Right.
Are you changing music over there?
Yeah,
you tired of that one?
Yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Real
Spooky.
groovy.
Yeah, this is the real spooky one. This sounds like some riff that Vito would write for
it does, yeah, Kalis.
It sounds like a Kalis clone riff, doesn't it?
It does.
Here you go, Vito.
Need some lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Vito would, oh my God. He would just so facepalm right now if he heard you say that. You know what would make this good? Some vocals. Vito would say, no, it wouldn't. Anyway, so yeah, I'll just have that on in the background. Anyway, okay. People at home, if you're listening, let me know if that's annoying or not. But I would like to, before we delve into all that, I would like to still talk more about what you brought up at first, like the preparing stuff. Because as we said, unfortunately, we haven't done a lot with carving, and we did a little bit of decorating. You decorated.
I did. I was going to say that was my first thing. It was my first year decorating my house.
Yeah.
And I have a huge front porch. I really had a blast getting to decorate for fall and Halloween.
Yeah.
I bought these banners that are Haunted Mansion banners.
Those are cool.
I really like them.
Yeah, those are really cool. Yeah, when I pulled up, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at those. And yeah, you seem pretty excited.
I was very excited about those.
I mean, your porch and all that is so big. Your yard, everything is so big that if you really want to, in the future, I get it. This was your first year in the house.
Yeah, I'll slowly build things up.
But
there's
you could
a little
really go
guy
crazy.
at Old Time Pottery I really want.
Oh no.
So I need
Old
to go.
time pottery is bad news.
It is. So I was very good not grabbing him, but I need to go now because he might be on sale.
Oh, that's true.
So I'll need him for my yard for next year. But that was my first thing is I really enjoyed getting to decorate. I got a light plug fixed in my house, so I was able to put lights on my porch.
That's cool. Yeah.
I was very excited.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing I did.
Yep. Oh, we got more. Oh, Javier's here. What's going on, dude? Happy Halloween Eve to you. Yeah, we're just getting started. We're just talking about stuff that we have been doing to kind of get us into the spirit of this season and everything. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know with this being your first year in this house how crazy you were going to go with like decorating and all that stuff.
I didn't go too crazy.
No, I don't think you did.
I bought myself a new rug.
Yeah. I like the
plan.
I like the mat outside the front door. Yeah, that was cool. The Haunted Mansion one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you got some nice stuff. I saw, and then of course you carved.
I did. I carved myself a pumpkin.
Yeah,
I had to at least do something in my first time. So.
And then
that's genius.
Well, I made the mistake of trying to be helpful. Because I got here and I was we were going to record and stuff, and I was trying to be helpful, and she had all this pumpkin muck everywhere. And I was like, yeah.
And the cats were having a good old time.
All the cats were going. I walked in. Those cats were just like, what is all this?
This is amazing.
Yeah, they were like, Mommy's on the floor and there's all this pumpkin stuff everywhere and it smells real funny. And because they've never seen that before.
Nope, that was the first time ever seeing that.
Because they're not even 2 years old yet.
Nope.
So, and there were no pumpkins last year, so this is all new to them too.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the cats were kind of going crazy, and I was like, all right, I'll help you clean this stuff up so we can get moving, because you were kind of a mess. And no offense, but I mean, you were.
I
mean, that's how it goes.
There was pumpkin everywhere.
When you carve pumpkins, that's to be expected, all right? So anyway, so I delved in, and I had all this goop and everything, and then I was trying to be funny and act like I was going to eat some of it because it was gross and everything, and I did get a little bit of that in my mouth. Whatever. I've carved pumpkins a bazillion times, right? And then all of a sudden, I wiped my hands off and everything at first, kind of rinsed them. But then after what? I don't know, a few minutes?
A few minutes, yeah. It didn't take very long.
All of a sudden, I'm like, I noticed that I was scratching a lot. And I look at my hands, and my hands were so red and blotchy and broken out, and they were itching like super bad. And even like it felt like my lips were feeling weird and everything from, when I put the pumpkin like stupid and everything. And I was like, what? Am I allergic to pumpkin now? I've never been allergic to pumpkin.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just that one.
I don't know.
Something with that pumpkin. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, could it have been? I was thinking about that later. I wondered if could it have been some sort of like pesticide or something?
Yeah, exactly. Because how often do you eat the pumpkin that we're carving? I've never seen you do that. I mean, maybe you have, but
no, I haven't. It looked like good pumpkin, but I mean, but I'm just saying. But even then,
even your hands. That was the weird part.
That was weird. It went away. I mean, once I washed it off and I put some cream on there and all that kind of stuff. I did take Benadryl and all. I just like all that. Man. That was just
weird. I did not expect that.
That was really weird. I've never had. Does anybody else out there have this issue with things like pumpkin? And it's one thing if you have it, but it's weird. I'm in my 50s, so to all of a sudden have a problem with pumpkin like that after all these years, I'm like, oh, come on, now what? Okay, so Javier jumps in. He says, it happens after like every 10 plus years your body changes. Sometimes that's true. That could. I've heard people say that. It could be that it's just a change. I mean, that would be my luck. I mean, anybody knows me. Well, as it was. So then, okay, so one of the things that I did this month that, I mean, I did it, I would have done it either way, but it was particularly cool doing it this month, is I was able to play a couple of Halloween shows.
Yes.
Yeah, I did a few of them actually, but a couple that were specifically Halloween party type shows and everything. I did 3 actually total. I did one with Matt at Standard Tap Room back in the middle of the month during the Wickedly Whiting event, the town Whiting, Indiana, which is Literally, you can walk there from Chicago. It's right over the border in Indiana. They do a 2-day event in the middle of October called Wickedly Whiting. That's a lot of fun. If anybody is around here, you've never gone to that, or if you ever are visiting here, it's a lot of fun, man. It's just a big long street carnival.
Yeah, they take their festivals here very seriously.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, and we got to play at a club there while that was going on. People dressed up, there was a bunch of people in costume and everything. That was cool. And then just this past weekend, I played a Halloween show out in Portage, Indiana. That ended up actually being a lot of fun. You and Mom came.
I did.
And you dressed up.
We did.
We should have put the picture in there.
We should have.
I could share it in the squad later or something.
I was a little
like that.
court jester. People kept thinking I was
Harley Quinn or something?
No, Cruella de Vil.
Oh, okay.
I guess because of the hairs.
It was a little bit Cruella-ish. Yeah. Except instead of black and white, you were black and red.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was cool. And to me, it almost reminded me of something that could have been out of like the Johnny Depp Alice in Wonderland, something more a Tim Burton-y Alice in Wonderland, character. That's kind of what it reminded me of a little bit. And Mom went as one of the pink ladies from Greece and everything.
Yeah, she looked awesome.
I didn't dress up as anything because,
He was lame. None of you guys dressed up.
Well, look at me. I'm a character already. Do I really need to dress up? Most people think I'm dressed up anyway.
I told him he should put his hair in front of him and put sunglasses on him because of it.
Oh, like I haven't heard that 500
it's an easy
billion
costume.
times. Yeah, Javier says he had a family Halloween party this past weekend. Lots of fun.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. In a lot of ways, I'll be honest with you, especially when it comes from like the playing standpoint, I enjoy certain aspects of Halloween more now than I did when I was a kid, just I guess in a different way.
Okay.
Like when I was a kid, I loved dressing up. I loved dressing up. I talked about it. I won't rehash on this episode because I talked about it so much in the past, but the famous stories of me dressing up as the Hulk with the maxi pad muscles and Gene Simmons and Darth Vader and Casper the Ghost and pirate. I was a pirate in kindergarten. And that's always my default. Even now when I'm an adult, it's like, you got to dress up for this. And I'm like, I'll be a pirate.
Yeah, guys are pirates and girls are witches.
Yeah.
It's an easy default.
Well, and when you look like me, when you got the hair and the beard and you kind of dress like a pirate half the time anyway, it's like, oh, shit, I could do a pirate, no problem. Well, you're going to need a vest and you're going to need black and you're going to need, I'm like, got it. Yeah, it's done. So I don't really like the dressing up part, and unfortunately I can't eat candy like I used to and everything, so I lose out on that. But I love playing the gigs. I love going out and playing the shows for people and seeing them. Like one of the fun things we did, and we completely pulled this out of our asses too. We didn't practice this. We didn't plan it. When we did this show this past Friday for the Halloween party, the person that hired us came and said, hey, we're going to do this like judging contest for all of you guys that had the costumes on. And we're going to make everybody, do like a parade walk around the whole place, which I got a big kick out of. So you guys weren't even hardly playing it up. You were just like walking. It reminded me of when I was in kindergarten or grade school in general.
Right,
and they would make
you kind of walk around. Yes.
They'd be like, all right, class, we're going to go to the upper class kids' rooms now. And you just had to like walk in a straight line up and down, like just march up and down and feel like a total chode.
Right.
While
I
all
thought
these
they were going to make it more fun. I was just like, oh, okay, we're just going to walk.
We tried to make it more fun because they were like, can you guys play music while they do it? And I looked at the guys and I'm like, guys, I know the words. I have the words here. So why don't we play Monster Mash? Mm-hmm. And we did. We actually played full-on Monster Mash, like full-on rock, and we did it for like 5 minutes or something like that.
I was like, are we done yet?
I cut some verses. I cut some verses because but I thought you guys would take more time and kind of be dancing around. You guys were literally just walking in.
I danced a little.
bit.
But then I noticed like, oh, well, nobody else is. Okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
I kept taking the whiskey guy because he kept trying to like detour. I was like, would you get back in line? You're holding me up. And he'd see me coming next. I was like, I gotta go. Here she comes.
Well, the guy that ended up winning the whole contest was a guy dressed as Willie Nelson.
He looked good.
He did
look really good.
He looked a lot Yeah, he did. He looked a lot like Willie Nelson and stuff. So fair enough. But there was a lot of great costumes.
There was. What second place was Popeye and Olive Oil?
That Popeye and
really
Olive
good.
Oil looked amazing.
Yeah, they deserved it.
That dude that looked like he legitimately looked like Popeye. I was like, oh, that's cool and kind of creepy and weird. Like in the face, like everything, the head, the shape of like he looked like
he was buff and filled out the shirt.
He looked like Popeye, man. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought they would win first place, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And who was the third place? I don't remember.
I don't know. They just kind of said it and nobody ever came out. I have no idea.
it was a little haphazard.
Yeah.
You know.
Just like because they had a chili cook-off. They're like, this person won, this person. I was like, we didn't vote by person. We voted by number. Would you tell me what number?
Yeah, and they were like, oh, we don't know the number.
I was like, oh, you're killing me.
Yeah,
killing me, Smalls.
It was a little rough. Javier says we should have played Thriller. That would have been awesome. I didn't even think of that because I would have totally. Yeah, that'll be next year. I'll do that.
Yeah, have the guys all practice for next year.
Yeah, especially if it's me and Matt, because Matt would be down to do Thriller and stuff. Yeah, we might do that. And I know in the past I've done Ghostbusters and stuff because you can always mash that up. If you know how to play I Want a New Drug, you know how to play Ghostbusters. They're the same damn song. Lawsuit proved it. Anyway. So that doing those kind of things, that's a lot of fun. I've done that. To me, that's helped kind of keep me, especially with everything going on. That's kind of kept me like into the Halloween spirit and everything. What about you? What's some other things?
I've been watching some movies.
Okay.
In particular, this year, I don't know, it's been weird because I haven't watched my regular go-to Halloween movies.
Neither of us have.
Because usually I watch Beetlejuice, but I can't find it where it's not an arm and a leg to buy right now.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't found my DVDs in my packed stuff yet. But I watched the new Haunted Mansion movie.
Yep.
Like 4 or 5 times now.
Oh my gosh. No, I watched it once.
So good. I adore that.
I thought
movie.
It was good. I don't know why people were being way too rough on it. I thought it was fun. It was silly.
And especially if you know the ride, all the extra little parts they put into it. It's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. Haunted Mansion is on Disney Plus. I don't know where you can find Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice isn't on. I would think that would be on Disney.
I haven't found it yet. I kind of did like a search for it, and I'll have to keep searching. Maybe tomorrow night I can find it or something.
If not, I might have the DVD, so I'll let you know.
Okay,
I can always drop it off.
I need
or something.
That.
Yeah.
But and then the Haunting in Venice. I'm super excited. That comes out tomorrow on Hulu.
Ooh.
So I'm super excited to get to watch that again.
I really want to see that. You guys said it was good.
It's so good. Don't expect like a horror flick, anything like that. That's not blood and guts and gore.
No, it's a suspense mystery thing. It's a Poirot story. Yeah. I'm down. There is plenty enough blood and guts, horror, gore stuff out there. We're up to our noses in that. There's tons of that out there.
Yeah.
I love having more spooky, mysterious kind of stuff like that.
Solved mystery. And Javier says it's on Max. Just searched. Anybody have HBO Max? Because I do not.
I do.
So well, there we go.
I'll give it. Remind me before I leave tonight. I'll try to look up the thing for you so you can log into it.
This is why we do this, is to come together as a group.
Yeah, exactly. Big help. Well, Javier always helps us, man. He puts all the good stuff in the squad for us to use.
He keeps us going for sure.
He really does. He really does. But for me, I'm trying to think. So I have watched some stuff. The one thing that we ended up watching I think this past week, it was that I'd been wanting to see for a while now, because obviously we've seen the original because we reviewed it, but I finally watched the director's cut version of Dr. Sleep.
Oh, did you?
And it is...
Oh, wait, I knew that. She told me that.
Just told you? Okay.
I was like, wait a minute, I knew that.
Okay, I was going to say, because I'm like, I'm surprised she didn't say something. Yeah, we watched it. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe like 5 days ago or something like that.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, so watched it, and I didn't know what to expect. Sometimes director's cut things can be hit or miss. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the stuff they throw in, you're like, well, that was pointless. Or at times you're like, oh, that just kind of takes away from what I liked about the movie and stuff. Now, we loved Dr. Sleep when we saw it.
It was so good.
Because you and I and Vito went and saw it at the theater.
Yes.
We loved it. A lot of people didn't. It was very divisive. I've encountered people who said they loved it, but I've encountered a lot of people that were like, ugh, like I didn't care for that at all. And yeah.
Did they read the book? Did they not understand?
I think most of the people that I personally have talked to that said they didn't like it were people that did not read the book.
Okay.
And I think that maybe was part of the problem, was that they were, what they did know was they knew the movie, they knew The Shining.
Right.
And so they were confused because this was drawing from both. And it changed certain things. Like if you just are going by The Shining movie and then it goes into this, you're like, well, some of this doesn't like kind of make sense to me, or it's not the way I thought it would have gone. But if you've read the Dr. Sleep book, and if you read the Shining book, which a lot of people haven't.
I haven't.
Oh, you never read the Shining book?
No.
Oh, it's totally worth reading.
I only read Dr. Sleep.
No. Especially since you read, and you loved the Dr. Sleep book.
I loved it, yes.
Then you need to read the Shining book. Don't just go by the movie. Okay. Because the two books especially fit together perfectly.
Well, the book's always better anyway, so.
Yes, in most cases, yeah, that's true. So what happened with this director's cut of Dr. Sleep is that it's not a ton of stuff. It's only like 20, 25 minutes, maybe at the most.
Okay.
Worth of little bits and pieces here and there. But everything that they changed or added in there, for one thing, I feel like it made it tie in more tightly to the Kubrick movie.
Okay.
So for people that, again, maybe if you weren't as familiar with the book and you were familiar with the Jack Nicholson movie and stuff, and Dr. Sleep movie felt a little foreign, a little alien to you, I think this ties it together a little bit better. There's just, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to tell you what. But there's just little things, and then there were certain criticisms that I actually saw online. People, I'll give one little thing, but I won't explain it. Like one thing that people were being nitpicky about was they were like, if you're going to hire an actor to play Danny Torrance and you go and hire Ewan McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, we didn't see Ewan McGregor being Danny Torrance. He doesn't even have the right eye color. And they, in the director's cut, they explain that.
Oh, nice.
They actually fix that and they explain it. And and not only is it the kind of thing where like it fixes that, but it makes sense. Like when you go, like it makes sense to the characters in the story. It's not just some gratuitous thing. It's like, oh wow, okay, that's pretty deep. Like there's an actual deep, meaningful reason why his eye color was different now as an adult or whatever. They explain and show all of that. There's more of certain characters and things from the Shining movie that they kind of beefed up a little bit in this version.
Okay.
This is probably the only chance I'm going to get to talk about it on here for the foreseeable future, so I'll be using my platform for it now. I highly recommend that you check out, if you liked the first Dr. Sleep version, or if you like the original Shining movie, or if you haven't, I really strongly recommend it and watch the director's cut. Don't even mess with the original cut. Just like Lord of the Rings, like don't even mess with the original theatrical version of Lord of the Rings. Don't mess with the original theatrical version of Almost Famous. Those are ones that once you've seen the director's cut, you can't go back. That's the same thing with Dr. Sleep. Watch that. What are you doing?
I can't see what she said, Megan. I love those ghosty earrings. Yeah.
Okay.
I got my ghosty earrings. I got my ghosty shirt. And you can't see. I got ghosty pants too. I'm all ghosty.
Yep. She's the mosty ghosty.
I'm the ghost with the most.
Wow.
Right now.
Yep. So anyway, so that was the main one. That's one main one I watched. Trying to think if there was any other movies that I watched that I didn't. I know Jess has been watching Midnight Mass, and I watched a little bit of that, the ending of that with her last night, and that was grim. Oof. Yeah. That was a depressing ass show. It looked good because I like, well, you watched some of that guy's, it's the guy that does Haunting of Hill House or whatever it was. Remember we watched that? About the family that living in that haunted house and everything, and the one son was the drug addict, and the one and all that kind of stuff, and the one daughter dies mysteriously. That whole thing. It's the same directors, same people that did that. They did this show called Midnight Mass and everything. And Jess told me to watch it because She said it's very in the vein of like a modern Salem's Lot kind of thing. Mike Flanagan is the director and everything. So, Javier says he watched the new Exorcist. It was meh. Now, here's the thing about that. I've heard so many different takes on that new Exorcist movie. I'm very, very interested in watching it. Now, as it should surprise nobody that knows me, I already know what happens because, of course, I spoiled it. I went and I read up like the whole thing, so I know how it begins and ends, and I know everything that basically happens. I just haven't seen it yet. But I've heard, and I can see from what I read, even just reading it myself without watching the movie, I can see certain things where some people might not like this or that about it. But even with some of the criticisms I've heard, I still want to watch it for myself.
Oh, absolutely. You always have to check it out yourself.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't take Javier or anybody's word for it, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I know, especially when it comes to horror and scary stuff, I tend to be very specific to my own tastes and things. Like there's stuff that I've heard other people say like, oh, that was terrible, and I was like, really? Because that really like got under my skin and freaked me out. And then there's other stuff that people are like, oh my god, that was like the most amazing horror movie, and I watched it and I was like, So I definitely want to watch it, but I am kind of going into it. And the other thing is, I mean, obviously I've talked about this plenty before too. Exorcist is the scariest movie of all time for me. I understand it isn't necessarily for everybody. I think it's a personal thing.
Right.
For me, I've already established that movie completely psychologically messed me up and still does, and I still have exorcist nightmares all the time. So I'm not expecting this to come anywhere near that, like I don't think it could. I think it would be very hard for them to make that happen for me again. And I think it's the same thing for a lot of people. I think that's the problem with trying to do an exorcist type movie now, is it's not going to psychologically get in people's heads the same way the original did. It just can't. There's too many factors there involved and everything. The one movie that I do want to see that I have heard good things of, although I've heard mixed stuff too, but somebody, Vito was just telling me that I was telling him that I was thinking about maybe watching this tomorrow if I got the opportunity. And I want to see that new movie on Netflix, The Pope's Exorcist.
Oh, I haven't heard it.
With Russell Crowe in it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd seen that it came out a while back and everything, and I just kind of ignored it. But then I logged into Netflix recently, and it came up as like how it'll just roll trailers, and like you're like, God damn it, I'm just trying to get to my thing. It played the trailer, and I actually watched the 2-minute trailer thing for it, and I was like, oh damn, that looks really cool, man. That looks really interesting. And Vito, actually, I mentioned it to him because I was figuring Vito and I have very different tastes.
Very different tastes. That's what I'm saying. It's like Vito likes it. I don't know why you're even considering this right now.
Well, and here's why. Because Vito is not that much into the kind of religious horror kind of things, like the psychological religious horror stuff like I am. Mm-hmm. And Vito even was like, dude, that movie was really good. I was really, and everything. And yes, I understand your point about it'd be like counterintuitive to be like, oh, Vito likes it, it must not be good. It's not true. I mean, sometimes there's truth to that, I guess. But the way he was talking about it, I was like, oh, wow, okay, now I'm even more intrigued to watch it. So if anybody out there has seen The Pope's Exorcist, the one with Russell Crowe, I'd love to know more about it. I'm probably going to watch it tomorrow anyway if I feel up to it. Oh, we got some feedback here. Jess says he did The Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor. That's
right.
The other one.
Yes.
Yeah, because we watched that.
Yes,
right.
we did.
Javier says it's not really scary. It's more like gross looking is the best way to describe it. Oh, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, because for me, Exorcist needs to be scary. I don't want it to just be like gross out. And I did glean that when I was spoiling it for me and reading the whole synopsis of the movie and everything. I was reading it and I was like, whoa, this is really grim. I mean, there's grim stuff that happens in terms of violence and, there's grim stuff that happens in the original, but most of it's up here, you know what I mean? And in this one, I was just like, oh, wow, they're really graphic with some of this stuff. And I'm like, see, that's not it doesn't necessarily ruin it for me, but I'm just like, that's not what makes Exorcist like awesome to me.
Right.
It's the I mean, that whole dream sequence that Father Damien has when he's dreaming about his mother in the subway, and then they just have those flashes of the demon face and stuff. There's no sound. There's no music. There's no creepy music. There's no sound. You just hear the sound of him breathing as he's sleeping. And this dream, and his mother standing there like crying and screaming or whatever it is, and then cutting to that demon face. Like, that's fucking scary, man. Because that's so legit. Because then you think about it and you're like, oh man, I feel like I've had that dream. Not that exact dream, but that kind of
Something
dream.
like it? Okay.
That's the kind of shit that I love when it comes to horror. So, yeah, that's kind of a bummer, man. If it's that and there's only one jump scare, man, I don't know. He said, see, I thought I was going to watch that one, not the other. Yeah. So, well, yeah, we'll see. Well, if I watch Pope's Exorcist and everything, I will definitely come back. I'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on the next squad or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I'll let people know if it's any good. So, gosh, anything else? Any other things you've done?
I just got caught up on Goosebumps. I know we talked about it prior.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that a while ago. Yeah. Are you all done with it now?
I don't know if there's more. There better be more, because the way they left it, there better be more episodes. But I didn't think maybe there's one more.
Okay.
I don't know. But again, I'm still really enjoying it.
Okay.
I said it before, I wasn't knowing what to expect out of this, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against watching that. I know you mentioned, if I recall, that it was a little teen drama-y for me.
It could be. For me, I think it's fine. But for you, you're like, oh my God, why are they doing all these tropes? This is so stupid.
Well, that's one of my biggest problems with horror movies in general. It's I mean, and everybody even knows that. They make fun. It's like that one commercial. Was it Geico or whoever that made the commercial about the stupid teenagers that are like, why not get in the running car and drive away? Are you crazy? Let's go hide in the shed with all the saws. And like, and even the killer guy's looking at him like, oh my God, you guys are so stupid. Like, yeah, it gets ridiculous with those tropes like that with me. So that does bother me, but...
Yeah, I'd be very curious for you to watch it and to see what you think. If it's got too many tropes or if you could find some enjoyment out of it.
Javier says, my fave was Night of the Living Dummy.
Well, you might enjoy this then. Yeah. Not going to say anything else.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved R.L. Stine growing up, so I'm with you, Javier. I did not do Goosebumps because that was a little young for me by the time it came around.
Okay.
But I had a cousin that was, she came around like briefcases full of Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I think I ended up with them at some point, but I never read them.
Oh, wow.
Which I probably should, because I probably would like them now because I would just like them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and it was a lot of like, what the hell is even happening? I'm just trying to figure it all out. So
it's cool. So it's kind of like, it's interesting that both of us ended up watching sort of like different stuff this year and not just automatically
our usual
defaulting to our usual stuff.
Yes, for sure.
But that being said, I miss our usual stuff.
I know.
I really want. Well, Jess and I did watch not all of it, but we did watch some of. We did catch some of Sleepy Hollow. That's always a good one. Okay. You've seen that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we watched some of Sleepy Hollow and some of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, we put some of that on. I had that on when I was trying to like put stuff that I could just listen to the music in the background, when I was trying to put stuff up on the walls, put those damn birds up, those crows above the window. Those troublemaking crows, man. We're gonna get into that in a minute. Yeah, we're gonna come around.
Speaking of music, the other thing I got is my Beetlejuice vinyl that glows in the dark. So I've been listening to that like crazy too. When I'm cleaning or cooking or something like that, I put that on.
Good. I'm glad because we got you that turntable, so I'm glad.
I use it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you're actually using it and getting some enjoyment out of it. Besides the cats, because I know you put it on just for them to listen to.
Well, yeah, I do.
The radio
part of it. But they enjoy the vinyl, too, because they go over there and try to figure out what's going on.
I found out real quick that I cannot play vinyl in my house, and not in the living room.
Let me guess, Bo?
It is Bojangles.
Of course it is.
Yes.
That boy.
Yeah, I got a new turntable not too terribly long ago, and I was excited to hook it up, and it works great. We got a great deal on it and everything through Books A Million. And I was excited. I was like, oh, man, I can't wait. Man, I didn't have that thing playing for 2 minutes, and that boy was up there on the back of that couch, like, ready to pounce on it. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, mine try to get into it, too. They're always like...
Yeah, but your cats are so much more gentle about it. Bo is just a lumbering maniac.
He's a bull in a china shop. That one.
He really is. We're always we have a black cat. We just got new cats. I'm sure we talked about it before, but I got new cats back in May. We got 3 new cats. We got a big old Garfield-looking cat, and his name is Cantaloupe. We got his brother, his actual brother, and he's orange and white, and his name is Pineapple. And then we've got a little black cat who's just barely 2 years old. Black cat with some white on him and everything, and that's Mr. Bojangles. He is a terror. We love him dearly. And he is very sweet when he wants to be. He's not a mean cat.
No.
He's not a mean, aggressive cat or anything. He's just hyperactive.
He's a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
He's your typical 2-year-old.
This hyperactive black cat. Let me tell you. Yeah, it was funny because the other day it was Happy Black Cats Day or whatever. And it was so funny that it happened to be Black Cat Day, and he was a bigger terror that day than ever. He knocked over our big wrought iron black lamp.
I heard he broke that.
Yeah, he jumped on the stove after I just used it and almost burned his little paws. And he knocked over like half of our decorations in the living room. It's like, what got into you? Oh, my gosh.
He knew it was his day. He was so
apparently,
excited.
Yep, exactly. He's like, it's my day to be an asshole. Just knock everything over. He is too smart for his own good. Yes. He is very smart. Oh, I don't know if she told you or if I even told you. Did we tell you that he has now figured out? It's bad enough that we can't leave the bathroom and especially the toilet open.
Right.
Because he will take every toy he has and dunk it in the toilet. We just keep stepping on wet cat toys everywhere.
And he steals the sponge from the sink.
And
that's wet too.
He loves sponges. Loves sponges. That's his favorite thing. No cat toy, nothing measures up to a blue sponge. He loves that sponge. But we discovered that now he is figuring out how to flush the toilet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes. He is now figuring out.
You definitely can't leave it open now. He's going to flush toys down there.
That's what I'm sure that's what it is. He's like, oh, wait.
It's like me when I was little. I was trying to clean my mom's jewelry, and I thought the toilet was the most
You never told me that story.
Thing.
You washed
So I took all her jewelry out of her cabinet.
Oh, my God.
And I flushed it. I thought it would go into the big reservoir. Just so you know, it did not.
So wait a minute. So you thought that when you use the toilet and you do your business, you think it all just goes into? You thought it all went into the back reservoir thing?
I didn't think that far ahead.
Clearly.
Just in this instance, it was going to go up, and I never opened it. I didn't know.
Oh wow.
I didn't understand how.
What
that
did your mom
worked.
say?
I'm sure she was not happy with me.
And you got mad at her because she got rid of your denim skirt? Boy, I feel like. I feel like this was fair play.
So much worse.
Yeah.
So much worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my. I mean, it's bad enough even if you didn't flush it. It's bad enough that you just put all of her jewelry in the toilet bowl.
Places.
That's bad enough.
Well, I couldn't do it in the sink. I was afraid it was going to go down the drain and be gone forever.
So one drain bad, other drain good.
It was going to go into the reservoir.
No. It didn't.
It did not.
Did not.
It was gone.
It was in that moment that Megan realized she fucked up.
I picked up the thing. Like, oh no, where's it at?
Oh wow.
And I like scream for help.
Wow.
Like, why would you do that? Like, I thought I was helping.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so our black cat has now figured out how to flush the toilet. Or he's trying to. He keeps trying to. I'm like,
I'll have a talk with him next time I see him and try to straighten this out.
No, you're not. All you're going to do is spoil the shit out of him like every time you do come over. Those cats can't wait for Auntie Megan to come over because they're like, oh, we're going to get spoiled. We're going to get all the attention. she's going to let us.
I don't want to hear it. Yours is as bad as mine. They don't even want to play with me because I don't do it right, apparently. They're like, this is not, just stop. You're embarrassing yourself.
Junior's laughing at you. He says that's freaking hilarious. You're ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
I was young.
Yeah.
And blonde.
Yeah. You still are.
Still blonde, but
it still shows sometimes, right? Yeah. But man. Anyway, yeah, no, I mean, cats are there for spoiling. That's what they're for.
Yes.
But anyway,
all right, you got anything else?
I don't know.
Are we ready to move on to some weird stuff?
Yeah, it's probably about time to move on. I mean, gosh, what time is it anyway? Like, do we even know?
It's
almost
9.
It's almost 9. Yeah, so we'll wrap this up.
We were like, we're going to keep this short.
Yeah, we never keep anything short. Like maybe we could do this under an hour, and we're already
should have known better.
We're already at 50 minutes. So, but what we want to get into, I'll save mine for last. I would like to talk about yours. So again, like I said, recapping when we did the first episode back in 2021 of our Halloween Real Talk. You had just recently at that point gone on a ghost adventure.
I had.
And that was where? Where was that at?
That was at the Crown Point Old Courthouse, or jailhouse.
That's right.
Just off the square.
And you had a really weird experience.
I had a very weird experience that still messes with me.
Yeah, I was going to add, that's kind of what I wanted. That's why I was sort of bringing it up, is I wanted to
Yeah, I was very apprehensive of even doing it this time.
Now that I knew, because you mentioned that to me. You said to me, you were like, man, I really hope I don't have another experience. Because what happened was basically you and your mom went to that jailhouse back in October 2021.
Yes.
And you felt like something not possessed you necessarily, but
I felt its presence for sure. And it was extremely depressed and sad feeling.
Yeah.
Where I basically had a panic attack, and I've never had a panic attack since.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say,
or before.
I realize people can roll their eyes at that, and like I brought up in that episode, and I'll bring up again now, and you just have to, I guess, take my word for it. Like, if you don't know Meg, that's not her. Megan is not a super hyper emotional person or somebody that's gonna. You're not dramatic. You don't like attention drawn to you. You are not that person.
No.
And there's even times where I'm just like, Jesus, Meg, I would think you would react more to this, and you're just like,
whatever,
that's you. So to hear that you went to this thing and that you just suddenly felt this thing that made you, because you started spinning in circles.
I was spinning in circles. My mom had to catch me to stop me, and
that's really...
I was crying. I burst into tears. I was like, I just want to cry. And I was perfectly fine. I was laughing just before that, and I was laughing after it.
Right. Yeah, that's really unusual for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people that if they told me they did that, I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'd be like, well, okay, all right, fine. I don't know how much I believe that. I'm sure it was in their head. But for you to come and tell me that, when you first told me, I was like, oh, wow. Oh, really? The more you were telling me, and then when we had the audio, when you played me the audio. And again, if any of you are interested in this, go back, look through our old stuff. It was it was from 2021. It was the Real Talk, talking about paranormal experiences and stuff. It's a pretty good episode, I have to say. Not patting ourselves on the back, but I thought it was a really good talk.
Yeah, but I have actual footage of me that night.
Yeah.
Of us doing everything.
You can't see her, but you can hear it. You can hear what's going on. You hear your mom trying to talk you down and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that was weird. That gave me that made my hair stand up.
Yeah, Jess is like, I don't ever want to hear that again.
Yeah.
Don't ever want to hear that again.
Yeah, because I've never heard you like that.
Yeah.
So that was so anyway, so jumping ahead to now, so you had the opportunity for you guys to go and do another thing like this.
We did. It was the same company.
Okay.
Which made me apprehensive even more.
Right.
But we like that one because it actually allows us to use ghost hunting equipment, and it's not just taking us on a tour or walking tour or just telling us about it. We actually get to go and try to experience this stuff for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? So it's with Chaos Haunted and Historical Tours. And this time we actually went to the Hobart Art Theater.
Okay.
In downtown Hobart. And I was the whole time, I was like, please do not let something happen to me here, because there's actually shows that goes on there now that I would like to go back to. And if something happens to me, I am not going back there. You can forget it.
Right. Understandably.
So I was like, I just want to have a nice, calm night. You know, like boring night is what I was looking for here.
Okay.
And some little things happened. There's a lot of interesting backstory. One of the people that have been there for years, probably like 20-something years, I think he said.
Okay.
Told us some backstory about it. It used to be a hotel that sat on that site.
Oh. Okay.
And, before the big hospital came into Hobart, it used to be like a makeshift hospital as well. So I'm sure for TV and all that kind of stuff way back when.
Yeah, and especially back in the day, there was probably a lot of grim stuff.
Deaths, yeah. And then he told us, they always did the American, what is it? Oh my gosh, Rocky Horror Picture Show. There we go.
Oh, okay. I was going to say American. Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I got making American Horror Story. It's like, that's not right.
I get it. Okay.
So Rocky Horror Picture Show, they did that there live. And I guess one of the actors that always did it there died.
Oh, you're kidding.
There. So I guess he's one of them that haunts there. And one of the old owners, there's a guy and the woman, his wife, she died first, I believe. They see her shadow sitting in the chairs in the back.
Wow.
Or in the doorways in the back there.
Yeah.
And then in the basement area, they tend to run into the old owner, the guy.
Okay.
Quite a bit. So we got all the backstory with all that. So that was cool in itself. Again, I love doing this stuff to learn the history behind it and then get to go play with
You
this
don't
equipment.
necessarily want to get possessed by spirits or
it's
have
not
some.
that I have to have something happen to me.
Right. You don't have to have an altercation. You just like the whole history of it.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair enough.
Just a fun night out with my mom. We don't do that very often.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So we've been looking for this to do, and we finally found these guys, and it was right there in my mom's hometown. So
okay,
all right, let's do this. And it wasn't like overnight like it was before, because this is, like I said, they still have shows here, and they have it in the evening, so it's a hard place to get into to have it in the evening.
Right.
Or events like this.
Yeah.
Usually they have to do it there during the day between all these big events that they have going on.
And is that when you went? It was a daytime thing, wasn't it?
No, it was an evening.
That was evening.
It wasn't like
well,
overnight.
The last time you were there, like in the middle of the
3
night.
a.m.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
but this one was like till 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Something like that. So like 7 to 10. So it was in the evening. So it was dark in there because we got there, they had all the lights on. So it was just, my mom had never been in there, so she was just enjoying getting to sit in the old theater and see it. And then they turned the lights out. It was pitch black in there.
Okay.
Could not see anything. So first we went down to the basement, the dressing room.
Okay.
I expected it, at least a basement. I thought it'd be this big, long, huge basement underneath it. It's just this tiny little room.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because you played there, haven't you?
At the Hobart Art Theater?
Yeah.
Years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they've turned it into like a dressing room down there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so we went down. There's a bunch of old crusty couches. And a lot of it's like, I don't know if I
that
wanna
sounds like a
sit
typical
here.
dressing room. Yeah.
But we sat down and we all had our little instruments. And of course, we had the thermometer because we loved the thermometer the last time.
Right.
We had the EMG reader that ticks red if something's happening.
Right.
And like a lot of people across from us, because it's a really narrow room, had a bunch of them as well. And the lady standing next to us, hers kept going off, but she was standing by a refrigerator that they ended up having to unplug.
Oh.
So there was some electronics there, and they said, electronics on walls can mess with these things.
Right.
But I kept watching across from us, and all of those were standing on one green light, like this entire time. We did. He turned on the spirit box,
mm-hmm.
and he was talking, and we immediately got the owner.
Oh, wow.
Said it was him, and told us his name and all that, and the battery drained. And they say that's
not uncommon. Yeah. No, I've even heard that a lot of times people say, we had, and again, I know people could say, well, there's technical explanations for that and stuff. I'm sure, but it does seem awfully coincidental that a lot of times these people have perfectly fine batteries and then they go to these places and then the battery completely drains.
Exactly.
So, but yeah.
And then, so he changed the battery, turned it back on, drained.
Wow.
Dead again. So he tried like a different thing of equipment, dead again.
Yeah.
So that was 3 in a row. So that was a little odd, but again, it could be explained.
Right.
But it was odd to go back to back after we were having activity. Right.
Right.
And again, the whole time I'm watching these EMF readers over here.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting at that one green bar. And then the guy came down that's worked there for like 20-something years. And I guess the old owner and him didn't really get along that great.
Okay.
So he was like, hey, are you here? Are you here with us? You want to talk to us? All this stuff. He's like, if you, and then one of the ladies in front of me, directly in front of me, hers started kind of going into the yellow.
Okay.
He's like, is that you? And it kind of went into yellow again. Again, all this time, none of the other ones next to her were going off, just hers. And he's like, do you want to talk to us? And it did nothing. And he's like, do you want me to leave? Do you want me to go back upstairs and leave this room? And it started going off. He's like, that's not good enough. I wanted to go into the red, touch it. And it went in the red.
Wow.
And touched it. So I was like, oh, well, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, I'm out. Peace. See you guys later. I was like, well, you're going to leave us down here with this thing now? But,
yeah.
But so that was like the most big experience that we had happen. And then we got to go upstairs where the projectors are and all that, because sometimes that has things up there.
Okay.
And while we were up there, I'd lost my mom. It was like this tiny thing. I was like, where the hell did my mom go? Mm-hmm. Like looking everywhere for her. And then I looked down the staircase and there's like this black blob. I was like, what is that? It startled me. I was like, it was my mom.
Your mom was the black blob.
She was down there, and she's like, it was too crowded up there for me. I just needed to escape for a second. And while we were up there, we were talking. I was like, come talk to us and everything. And we heard this huge crash downstairs. We're like, what the heck was that? And next thing you know, we hear this blood-curdling scream. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? I guess some guy, my mom from the stairs saw some guy dropped something and dropped some glass. And then this lady walked into the room and she didn't expect him to be there and she screamed. So,
oh boy.
But it was a lot of fun getting to go and do this.
So this was a more positive experience.
It was a calm experience for me. And then we went and got Dairy Queen. Had some ice cream.
Yeah. So Junior says here, he says, one, okay, 2 batteries maybe, but more than 2, there's more going on there. Exactly. That's my point. I mean, I tend to err, believe it or not, even with things I've talked about and I'm going to talk about, I tend to still err on the side of skeptic, because I feel like most of the things can be explained away pretty easily, even if sometimes it seems odd still, it's like, but there's still always that chance that it could just be an easy explanation, or even if it's not that easy, it can be explained.
Right.
But I do think that there's something with that. I mean, I think that the whole thing with like spirit boxes and all those things, it's easy to kind of roll your eyes and think about these ridiculous TV shows we watch, where everything's compelling.
It's so compelling.
It's so compelling evidence. And it's like, it's not that compelling, man. You say this every week, Yeah. But it's easy to kind of roll your eyes at that. But I do think that there has been enough legitimate, study and use of these things that I think there could be something to it. And what it is, who knows? I mean, to sit there and say, well, it's a ghost. It's like, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a ghost. I mean, I believe in things that I don't even know if I necessarily believe in flat out ghosts. I'm not saying I don't, but I'm saying there could be different levels of things. There could be just sort of like energies.
Right.
Negative energies, negative presences. Like people may not necessarily be a flat out ghost. It could be just sort of like a vibe and negative energy that's going on there. And that could, energy is energy. That can affect things in all kinds of ways.
Yep.
I guess, should it lead me into what I will probably end with here?
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. So, not that, well, I guess mine was negative. Nobody got hurt or anything like that, thank goodness. But mine was definitely one of the oddest things. Now, any of my friends or even some of you guys who I consider friends too, that have been watching and listening to us for years, you probably have heard me tell stories, especially if you listened to the last episode in 2021. You've heard me tell stories about things that went on in my house while I was growing up. And the funny thing is, when I did that, I think I pretty much ended on the note of, all these different things happened. There was the statue cat story and the red man story and the Ouija board story with my stupid friends and I that did not end up well at all. And all these different things, and things that my stepbrothers saw when they were younger and stuff. And I talked about how I'm like, well, I don't believe anything. If there is any kind of presence in my house, it's not malevolent. And I still believe that. I don't think that it's a malevolent, negative presence. But I mentioned that I'm like, nothing's happened in forever. Like we haven't
Yes, you did.
We haven't had, like, man, I don't know if it's anything with them going on anymore because, man, nothing happens in forever. So whatever. And it was just kind of like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So let's fast forward to, it was about this time last year. It was early October. And Jess just piped in and says, yo, don't be tempting these spirits. I think I did already. That's what I'm kind of getting at. So this time last year, Jess and my mother went to, they went up to New England for like a week-long vacation. I went on a really cool vacation where they traveled all through different places in New England and stuff, which was this time of year. That's pretty cool, That's can be a little spooky and pretty and stuff in and of itself. Jess just said they're very nice. They're here to watch over us. I think so. Yeah, I think if there's anything in the house that is there, I mean, if there's some legitimacy to that, they haven't, knock on wood, they have not harmed anybody or anything like that yet. At least nobody that's like not tried to fuck with them. Mm-hmm. Like when I was teenagers and my stupid friends
did the Ouija board thing.
were trying to do the Ouija board thing, and then my friend got extremely ill on the spot. Like, it was so weird.
I want to get some of this ghost hunting equipment and go to your basement.
I don't want to mess with them. I think that's the thing, is that we don't mess with them. So I don't know what prompted this next story I'm about to tell you. So anyway, Jess and Mom were out of town. I was at home, and my cat that unfortunately earlier this year passed away, Sadie. It was just she and I. And it was the middle of the day. It was like a Tuesday, I think it was. And sunny fall day. And I went in the middle of the afternoon at like 2 in the afternoon or something like that. I was like, I'm going to go run to the grocery store. I got to run to the bank or whatever. I'll be back. I was gone for maybe an hour and a half, something like that. Now, it was a normal day. Maybe a little bit windy. And that might factor in. We'll get into that in a second. But it wasn't like crazy windy. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, whoa, we've got some crazy wind gusts going on. It wasn't like that. It was just a blustery fall day. Mm-hmm. There was no rain, no storms, nothing like that. It was sunny. I come back in. Now, at this point, it's probably almost about 4 in the afternoon, something like that. And I walk in through the front door, and I turn into the living room. And my living room is a freaking disaster. It's just a disaster. And I was like, whoa. And my first thought was either somebody broke in and like ransacked the place. Okay. Or that maybe there was some kind of weird, something happened. Maybe the foundation of the house like shifted, like some kind of, but as I started looking closer and realizing what had happened was all of the ceiling tiles, and I'll show some pictures. I have pictures here for people that are watching this. I apologize for the ones that are going to be just listening to this, but I'll explain it. Our ceiling is a bunch of those white, like basically 12 by 12 inch tiles. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of like that cushy foam. I don't even know what they call that exactly, but they're interlocking tiles that go up there, and they help, they help keep it warm. They help prevent sound, all that kind of stuff. And they're just kind of old school tiles. Now, they had been up there a while. I mean, this is an old house, and I don't remember how long ago it had been that those tiles had been put up, but they'd been up a while and stuff. But what happened was and I mean, not all, but 97% of all of the ceiling tiles had completely fallen down. Just fell straight down. All over the room. My poor cat was like, dude, I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. And second of all, what the hell, man? Like, what just happened?
If it was Bo, you wouldn't believe him.
If it was Bo, yeah. If it was my cat now,
I know you did
if it was my cat now, he'd be like, Bo, what did you do? Be like, I know it was something he did. He must have got up in the ceiling somehow or something. Like, yep, you're right. But Sadie would not. No. Sadie was blind. She couldn't even really see. So there's no way she caused any. And there's no way she could have, and we'll get to that in a minute. So for the folks at home, I'm going to show you pictures right now and you'll see that, Jess says she was especially freaked out because she was blind and old. Yeah. So for those that are able to watch at home, you can see, I've pulled it up in the middle of the screen here. That's my living room. And you can just see all over the couches and the recliner and everything like that. There are ceiling tiles everywhere. Just everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And here, that's the ceiling. So you can see a majority. So the border around there, you look at the top and then the sides and the bottom, you can see that there was a few tiles that did not come down. But the majority of the tiles just came down, which is really strange. And that's the
look at that.
Yeah, that's the debris all piled up on the floor. Now, I'm going to go back real quick to the first picture. So, thanks, Javier. Nice digs. Yeah, so here's the thing about that. If you're looking at the picture now, you will notice that in the foreground, in the center of the room, there is a table there. That is a little coffee table, a little black coffee table we have, and it's got a bunch of ceramic and glass and a couple of stuffed Halloween decorations on there because we'd already decorated for Halloween. They're still standing there. They're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the ceiling above it,
tile there, nothing.
Even the ceiling above it is gone. And it all fell down, but nothing got knocked off that table.
Really?
It doesn't make any sense. And there's tile, you can see, look around there, there's tile everywhere. Everywhere, but it didn't knock down any of the Halloween decorations. Which is
weird.
Very, very strange. That is an odd part. Here's another part that's odd. So, Luke and Willie, Luke's my stepdad, Willie's our roommate. He lives downstairs. They came home shortly afterwards. I had messaged them. They came home. And we started cleaning up and we were trying to figure it out. And Luke at first was like, oh, Luke's skeptic, obviously. It's just the way he is. And Luke was like, no, there's got to be a reason for it. There had to be something to happen. Well, he went upstairs into their apartment upstairs to make sure there wasn't something that had fallen. There was any kind of there was no damage to the roof, no damage to the upstairs. There was no damage to the floor underneath, the ceiling underneath where the tile was. There was nothing. There was no holes to the outside that could have indicated that maybe a huge gust of wind could have blown in there.
Right.
There was no evidence that maybe a small animal of some sort could have gotten in there, like a raccoon or something, wreaked some havoc. No signs of that. Furthermore, what's really weird is that not only are these tiles interlocked in terms of the way they fit together, but they were all also stapled with industrial staple gun, big staple gun. They were all stapled to the ceiling on all four corners of each one, right?
Right.
The staples were all still in the ceiling. The staples are still there. It didn't. So whatever happened was strong enough somehow to pull all the ceiling tiles down, but didn't yank out a single staple. All the staples were still
crazy.
up. Yeah. It just doesn't make any freaking sense. Here, I'll show you the ceiling again. There's the ceiling if you guys can see. We got comments here. So yeah, Javier says spooky. Exactly. Jess says I should have sent you the photos I had taken a few days previously where you can see the ceiling is totally fine. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I think they can kind of get the idea. But that's the thing. It's not like our ceiling was it's not like it was in really bad shape or anything like that. There was no sign that it should have done this. Junior says, that's incredible that it didn't touch the center table. Well, and that's the thing. It's as we started looking around, as Willie and Luke and myself started looking around and just assessing it all and trying to figure it all out, we just started really realizing, even Luke got weirded out. He was like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's something.
He's like, yeah. And he's like, wait a minute. Why are the staples are still in the ceiling? It literally... It just, yeah. What's he saying? What's saying? Junior says ceiling is not even wet or the tiles. No, there was no dampness. There was no wet. That's what I said. We looked. I was like, maybe something got wet. Maybe there was a hole, a leak. Holes in the wall that could have, like I said, there could have been a gust of strong wind that came through that did that. There was no trouble with the house, the foundation. The roof was fine. There was no evidence that any animals could have got up in there and done that. Nothing. There was nothing. We can't find any reason why this happened. And that's the thing, because then our first instinct was to think, and what Luke first brought up, and then I was like, oh, maybe you're right, was Luke said, well, if, it could be kind of like a deck of cards, right? A house of cards. Like, if one falls, maybe they could all start coming down. And I said, okay, agreed. But the problem is, again, these things were stapled to the ceiling. They weren't just simply being held there by
gravity
and force or whatever of them being stuck together. There was staples there. Second of all, the other thing that made it particularly weird was the fact that we obviously then had to go and pull the rest of the remaining tiles down because we were going to have to replace all of them,
right?
Which is what we ultimately did. We put all new tiles up and stuff. When Luke and I went to go take the rest of those tiles down that were up there, dude, do you know how much force it took us? And two grown men, and Luke's got some strength, I mean, the guy, he's a mechanic. He lifts a lot of stuff. He does a lot of like heavy lifting and things like that. And Luke is up there yanking on these remaining tiles, trying to get them down. And it took a lot of force to yank them down.
That's crazy.
So what the hell caused our ceiling to fall down? We still don't know. And it's interesting because it happened like right before, like the day before, a couple days. It happened right around what would have been Jess's mom's birthday.
Oh.
And Jess's mom passed away several years ago. And the first thing I said when I called Jess, I talked to her because she was gone and everything on this trip. I was like, what's your mom upset about? I'm like, I bet. And then she was like, right? Like, I'll bet you she's mad because I'm up here with Denise seeing New England and all this stuff. And I'm not, like we were like, I don't know how true that could be, but it was just funny because we were just like, what? Somebody threw like a little tantrum.
Yeah.
Because that's what it seems like. It seemed like a tantrum, like some sort of, whatever paranormal tantrum that would have caused that. But what made us laugh to think about like, well, I could see if her mom did it, was it would be like her mom to have that tantrum
and not touch the Halloween decorations,
but make sure that all of Jess's Halloween decorations didn't get touched, didn't get injured, didn't get broken or anything, because that, again, it doesn't. If you look at the damage, look at the floor, look how much that is, look how it's piled up. That is untouched. Those are the pictures that I took as soon as I walked in. Like, I had only been there maybe a minute or two at most, and I snapped those pictures. So it's not like we moved anything around. And it's just weird that all that stuff somehow, and I mean, those things on the table, like now, like we've got stuff on that table now for Halloween and everything. Dude, like Bo's knocked them over like 500 times already. Like our cat knocks it over. Like all he's got to do is just bump up against that table slightly and things like fall over. It's really easy to do. The fact that the whole freaking ceiling fell down or whatever caused the ceiling. Because that's the thing too, is if you sit there and you think about it and go, well, maybe there was some kind of weird tremor. Maybe something did happen with the house. There was some kind of something that shook it and caused that to happen. If it was strong enough to knock the ceiling down, why didn't it knock anything else down? Nothing else fell down. We have like all these like skinny, we've got skinny glass vases and ceramic figurines and all these other things. Jess has tons of that kind of decorative stuff that's really easy to knock over.
Yeah.
Like I said, the cats do it constantly. Or you just accidentally bump into a table or a console or something and boom, something's going to go.
Yep.
So the fact that this kind of carnage happened in that room and nothing got knocked over.
That's weird. It's weird.
I can't explain it. And that's what I'm saying. I can't sit there and say, well, it was ghosts. I don't know what it was. I have no answer for it. It's just a unusual, you call it paranormal, whatever, unusual experience, some odd activity there that cannot be explained. I'd love to know. I mean, even if it's like, oh no, well, it was some kind of legitimate scientific known, oh, it's because this happened, blah, 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 and some force that caused this. Cool, okay. I'd love to have an answer, because it cost us a lot of money to fix that, man. It sucked. It was like ghosts. Couldn't you figure something else out to do if it was a ghost?
Throw a tantrum, be a little more cheap about it next time.
Right. It was, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up on here and you know, throw that out there for people to think about it and everything, because I said in the last Real Talk about this that I said, well, all this stuff at my house happened years ago and we haven't had anything happen in years now. So, well, here you go. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh yeah, check this out. You know, you don't know if we're around anymore? Boom, there you go. But again, what's also interesting is, and I guess a good thing, kind of a cool thing, is clearly, like, our cat wasn't injured. Right. So hopefully she wasn't in the room when it happened. And I was gone. It was the one little short period. I was home all day that day. And the one period when I got up and I left, and it happened it didn't hurt anybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish you guys had that camera you guys have now.
I know, because now we've got like the Ring cameras and all that kind of stuff where you can like we can check on our cats on our phone and all that stuff. I know. That would have been really interesting to just see it happen like that, you know, but we didn't.
Missed chance. Maybe next time.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, more comments here. Junior said, that's what I was thinking, but there has some weight to force the tiles to come down. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not one of those things where you can just easily explain it away. And at first we did. It really didn't hit us until Luke and I tried pulling those remaining tiles down. Yeah. Once we pulled those remaining tiles down and we saw how difficult it was, and we got up close and that we saw all those staples that were still in there. Staples weren't pulled out at all. Tiles were pulled out from under the pulled through the staples. And that's a lot of force. I mean, anybody that understands how force and, you know, works and all that kind of stuff and the kind of torque it takes to do those, like, you understand, like, wow, damn. Yeah,
that's the part that gets me, is that the force you guys had to use to get the rest of them down.
That's interesting. Junior says maybe it was the ghosts had a fight amongst themselves.
They might have.
Interesting.
Maybe they had a little interloper trying to come through.
Oh, that just gave me chills. Yeah, maybe whoever's in our house was like, no, get the hell out of here. They had like a little like battle. Right. That's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I just thought it was interesting, and like I said, we've got the photographic evidence of at least of the carnage there, of the aftermath of it, and anybody has any like legitimate answers for that kind of stuff, or if they've seen something like that, then love to hear it. You know, because like I said, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, this was definitely proof. No, it's not proof of anything other than something weird and hard to explain happened. Right. But it just does in my house in particular, given the history of it. My house is well over 100 years old, and different things that have happened, stuff that I experienced, other people, my dad later admitted to experiencing when they first moved into the house. Different little things that have happened, you know, and none of them were big major events, but just a bunch of little things that add up that none of them can be easily explained. So... Yep. And then, Jess is saying, all those birds we put up there knocked the ceiling down. She said, well, wait, there was something else that happened around that time. What else happened around that time? I don't remember. What else? Do you remember something else that happened around that time?
Oh, she can't remember either. Huh. It does seem like you guys said something else, too. Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember now either. This is the main thing that sticks in my head. I don't know. It's weird that
we'll have to do a part 3 once we remember.
Yeah, maybe if we remember, you know. But yes, as far as like what you were saying about let's bring stuff into the house, no, I have no desire to do that because if I've been in this house for how long, and it's never harmed me, and I feel such a strong connection to that house, and I just always have. I mean, I know people who say, well, that's because it was your childhood home. And sure, but yeah, I know people can roll their eyes at this. I really don't care. There's something else. I don't even know what it is, but there's some kind of weird connection with me in that house and stuff. And it's not something that I want to, I don't want to mess with it. Like I said, I learned that lesson back when I was a dumbass teenager, thinking it would be fun to mess with it. And it didn't mess with me, but it messed with my friend pretty badly. And he was another guy that, I mean, the fact that he got so violently ill like that and and clearly was not putting it on. I mean, he got like exorcist ill all of a sudden real quick when we were messing with that stuff. And he was trying to be a cool guy. He would not have shown that kind of weakness just to get a rise out of people. It was, I learned then. I was like, never doing this again, never messing with this again. And I never have.
Javier is going to sleep, so.
Oh, I understand, man. No worries. Hey, man. Yeah, good times. Happy Halloween Eve, and man, have a great Halloween tomorrow. And again, we encourage anybody, join us in the Geeking Squad group on Facebook where we post all the time and everything. If you have any fun stuff that you did for Halloween, if you got pictures, did you dress up for Halloween, or you took your kids out and you did some trunk or treating or whatever it is, or there's certain movies you watched or specials or anything, or a news thing, share them. That's what we're here for. We love that stuff. Yes. That's why we started out this whole episode talking about that kind of stuff, and then ended on a semi-serious note here and everything. But thank you everybody for joining us here, and this has been a lot of fun. I'm really glad we got together to do this.
Yes.
I'm really glad that neither of our paranormal experiences we had were bad this time,
Yes. Me too.
Oh, yeah. Half of the shower curtain, that it was like the shower curtain was taken off its hooks, but like put back up like wrong or something like that. Yeah, I don't.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember her telling me about it, and I didn't see it.
That's creepy. I have shivers now.
Well, it makes me, and I can't remember. I'm like, is it possible that I did something to it and I took it down and put it up wrong? Because I would do that, not put it up right. It's possible, but I don't remember doing that, so I don't know. Yeah, and that did happen like right about the same time. So
interesting.
Who knows? I don't know. But anyway,
we're like Loki. I don't know.
Yeah, we're like Loki right now. I don't know. So well, we'll be back later this week to talk about Loki. We still got to put out the last Loki review that we just did and everything. Oh man, Loki.
It's coming.
It's all coming so fucking, fast and furious and everything. It's like, we can't even keep up with it and stuff, but the crazy stuff going on. So if you're into Loki, I'll try in the next day or so. I'm going to try to get that Loki review out because I know the new episode's coming out a few days from now. So. Yeah, so I got to keep up and everything. There's just been a lot. We put out the new Geeking Squadcast, came out earlier this morning. Mm-hmm. There was some fun stuff we talked about. That was a little overdue because, again, we just had health things.
A lot of stuff going on, but it's
stuff going on, but we're trying to catch up here and everything. But, yeah, that's it. Happy Halloween, everybody, and please have a safe holiday.
Yes.
We want to see you all back here again. And I think that's it for us. We're going to get out of here.
Yep.
So, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
So long from the great beyond. Ooh. Geeks of the unknown. I'm a dork. I'm sorry. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.